Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are popping open the hood of the human mind to examine our ultimate biological supercomputer. We're going to look way past our conscious, everyday thoughts and peer directly into the profound, lightning-fast subconscious machinery that silently dictates how we love, what we fear, how we heal, and ultimately how our entire civilization might evolve. All right, here's our roadmap for Lesson 10. We'll be hitting 1. The science of intuition. 2. Ancient hardware and heuristics. 3. Processing gaps and glitches. 4. The psychosomatic bridge. 5. Hacking the subconscious. And finally, 6. The civilizational threshold. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The science of intuition, the high-speed brain. To really understand this, you have to grasp the sheer difference in scale. Your conscious mind, the part of you that's listening to my voice right now, processes a mere 40 to 50 bits of data a second. But your subconscious, it is absolutely crushing roughly 11 million bits per second. There is just a massive, mind-blowing processing gap between what you're actively aware of and what your brain is actually crunching behind the scenes. So what does this all mean? Well, the crucial takeaway is that your intuition isn't some mystical, magical force. It's actually a massive background processor executing ultra-fast pattern matching. Antonio Damasio's somatic marker hypothesis nails this. It proposes that your brain associates really complex patterns with physical sensations. So, you know that sudden gut feeling or when your heart starts racing out of nowhere? That's just your subconscious, having already crunched those 11 million bits, sending you a physical alert way before your 40-bit conscious mind even realizes there's an issue. Now, to maintain that incredible speed, this massive system relies heavily on mental shortcuts, which we call heuristics. These shortcuts are absolutely vital for rapid survival-based decisions. But, of course, they come with a cost. Fast pattern matching can easily misidentify a brand new situation as a familiar one. And the affect heuristic can let our immediate, raw emotions completely override objective logic. This is exactly where our brilliant internal engine starts churning out some pretty catastrophic bias errors. Moving along to Section 2, Ancient Hardware and Heuristics, Evolutionary Apps. Take love and attraction, for instance. It's not just romance and poetry. It's a highly structured survival program pre-installed to ensure our species keeps going. It steps predictably from reproductive lust, driven by the hypothalamus, straight into a dopamine-fueled attraction phase, where your serotonin drops and you literally cannot stop thinking about the person. Eventually, it settles into an oxytocin-driven attachment phase to build long-term trust and help with child-rearing. It's basically a highly effective neurochemical algorithm. And how about those musical chills we call frisson? You know, that wave of goosebumps you get when a song hits just right? Believe it or not, that is just your brain's ancient thermoregulation and social defense circuitry getting successfully hijacked. When the music gives you an acoustic surprise, it triggers a mild startle response. But the moment your brain realizes, oh wait, it's just a beautiful sound, not a predator, your nucleus accumbens immediately converts that hit of adrenaline into pure dopamine-fueled euphoria. But, you know, relying on this ancient hardware definitely leaves us with some evolutionary baggage. Take nyctophobia, our ancestral fear of the dark. Since humans lack night vision, low light sends our amygdala into absolute high alert, triggering a glitch called pareidolia. Our brains become so incredibly desperate to spot threats that they prioritize immediate safety over accuracy. It literally forces us to see terrifying monster faces in random shadows, or a pile of clothes on a chair, just to be safe. Which brings us to Section 3, Processing Gaps and Glitches, Mental Rendering Errors. Let's talk about déjà vu. It's literally a neurological glitch. The dual processing theory suggests it's essentially a millisecond ping delay, where sensory info hits your long-term memory just a fraction of a second before it hits your conscious mind, making the present moment feel exactly like a memory. Or there's the hologram theory, which argues that just a single sensory input, like a specific smell, can trigger a generalized feeling of familiarity that mistakenly paints an entirely new room as something you've already seen. And what happens when massive groups of people experience these mental rendering errors all at once? We get the Mandela effect. Millions of people falsely remember the Berenstain Bears spelled with an E, or swear the Monopoly Man had a monocle, or vividly remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." This is psychological confabulation operating at massive scale. Our brains are just neatly filling in the logical gaps, completely proving that our collective sensory archives are, well, far from perfect. Let's dive into Section 4, The psychosomatic bridge, mind-body connection. This is where we see your internal pharmacy at work. Positive expectations trigger the placebo effect. Your brain releases endorphins and dopamine that physically reduce pain and promote real healing, even if you just swallowed a sugar pill. On the flip side, the nocebo effect reveals a much darker reality. Anticipatory anxiety releases stress hormones like cortisol, which literally creates brand new symptoms and heightens your pain simply because your brain expected to be harmed. Your mind is writing your physical reality. And this immense power over reality even extends to our internal simulations, our dreams. Normally, standard dreams are just passive, scripted experiences meant for memory consolidation. But if you master lucid dreaming, you actually reactivate your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, your core logic center, while you're fast asleep. You transition from a passive, confused observer to an active participant, literally controlling the physics of your own biological virtual reality. This powerful brain-body interface even defines near-death experiences, or NDEs. When clinical death approaches, subjects frequently report a profound panoramic life review and a total loss of the fear of death. Now, this sparks a really fierce clinical debate. Is this simply a biological glitch caused by a brain starved of oxygen and flooded with endorphins? Or is it profound, undeniable evidence of non-local consciousness that exists outside the physical brain? Let's look at the vulnerabilities of this system in Section 5. Hacking the subconscious, external manipulation. Because our hardware is so reactive, cults can intentionally exploit our social and biological programming. They often kick things off with love bombing, hijacking that exact same dopamine-rich honeymoon phase we see in romantic attraction. Once you're hooked, they apply the bite model, methodically controlling your behavior, information, thought, and emotion. This completely bypasses your intuitive critical thinking, effectively replacing your personal identity with strict group allegiance. The contrast between a healthy community and a high-control group is stark. A healthy group is transparent, it's accountable, and it actually enhances your individual identity. A cult, however, wields cognitive dissonance as a weapon to absorb you entirely into their collective. And honestly, it's not just cults in the woods anymore. Today, we see these exact dynamics automated digitally, creating algorithmic echo chambers that lock entire populations into polarized, unthinking collectives. Finally, let's cast our eyes forward to Section 6, the civilizational threshold, future evolution. As we advance toward becoming a true Type 1 civilization, we are going to have to master these biological relics. Think about it. We'll need serious psychological conditioning to override our ancient nyctophobia when we're navigating the eternal pitch-black dark of deep space. We'll need to utilize biosomatic engineering to consciously direct the placebo effect for our own internal healing. And we might even use brain-computer interfaces to stabilize lucid dreams, turning them into shared therapeutic or even creative workspaces. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative threshold to ponder from Lesson 10. We have explored the massive 11 million bit engine roaring under the hood of human consciousness. But as we increasingly rely on the digital intuition of artificial intelligence, how are we going to bridge the ancient emotional power of our biological minds with the vast, calculated, autonomous intelligence of tomorrow? Are they going to clash, or will they merge into something entirely new? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.